Yep. Do we formally call the physician recruitment meeting to order? Madam Clerk,
Yes.
do we have a quorum?
We have quorum, and our first order of business is to appoint a chair and vice chair. May I have nominations for the chair?
I'll move Councillor Whitehead.
Okay. And for vice chair?
Second.
Oh, can I get a
Oh,
second?
second, yeah, and I'll move Councillor Conley as vice chair.
I think
Oh, this will be the other one?
If you're talking about management.
we had the academy. We had
subcommittee,
the academy person want to be the vice chair.
Okay, so moved.
And the reason why, Doug, is
I
that
don't-
we have an executive committee where we bring in the physician recruitment piece.
That's right.
Sorry, the medical piece with myself and.
No need to explain, I was just trying to
It's
expedite
just a
it.
make-
I'm trying to expedite
Yeah.
things here.
I don't mind it.
Okay, so we
Okay.
have Councillor Whitehead as chair, is that correct?
That's right.
And vice chair, and nominations? please?
Dr. Lamb,
Dr. Lamb?
I'll nominate.
And can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, is there anything else I need to do? Declaration of interest?
No, right now we have, I'm just going to give you, since you are the chair, I will give you your script.
All right. Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are. There's an added consent item, which is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting on March 25th, and I have just been advised that I missed two names that need to be present, and that would be Mr. Alfonso and Dr. Lamb, so I will amend the minutes of the March 25th meeting, bring them back to you.
Okay, so the minutes as amended, moved by Councillor Merulla, second by Councillor Conley. All those in favor? Carried. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Merulla, second by Mr. Falco. All those in favor?
Carried.
Those carried. So, any declaration of interest? Seeing none. 3.1 Management Subcommittee. Is there any discussion respecting the item?
I just want to clarify who the management subcommittee is going to be carrying forward. I know that Dr. Lamb and myself have been on the subcommittee, the management committee, subcommittee for the last couple of years. And we usually have a counselor. I would imagine that would be you, Terry?
Correct.
Okay, so just, that would be the three that would carry on. We have meetings on a more regular basis, once a month.
Usually once a quarter.
Once a quarter, okay. So then it's not too tedious, but at the same time, they're important meetings because it's an opportunity for Jane and to sort of keep us up to date on what's happening, but also if there's any issues or problems or situations, then we're able to help her sort through them. And so we act as sort of an advisory consultative type of group, as well as review the financials and the operations activities and that sort of thing. So just for
Okay, so in that management subcommittee, do we actually name the positions or the names in that management subcommittee?
Do we
name the names. I
positions that
think we
I
should.
recruit? Is that what you mean? I'm
No,
sorry,
no,
I'm
no.
trying to follow.
The names of the people involved. Is that what you mean?
Right.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Is it done by position or is it done by just names?
It's done by position.
Position, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you remind us what those positions are?
So there's a representative from the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, from the Hamilton Academy of Medicine, and from the City of Hamilton.
There you go. Okay, so I just want to make it clear.
Yeah.
And so that would be Len from Chamber,
Right.
Dr. Lamb from the medical, and myself as the chair. Okay, all those in favor?
Carried.
Opposed, carried. Dr. Lamb, you've been, I'm proud to let you know that you've been reappointed as vice chair of the
Officially now.
since we couldn't make it formal last time.
See what happens when you're not here?
Well, I was here last.
Okay, so now we're at minutes of previous meeting. We just did that, right?
Yes, but as
As amended.
As amended, yes.
Yep, moved by Councillor Collins.
Conley.
Conley.
I'm saying.
Second by Merulla. Sam Merulla. All those in favor? Carried. 4.1 key performance indicators. Are there any discussion respecting this item? No, we did have some discussion during the informal physician recruitment meeting. So most of us are aware of it. Councillor Merulla was excused for that meeting because he had city business. So, do you have any questions?
Dental.
Oh, dental. That was personal. That's right, dental.
I do actually, Mr. Chairman. With respect to, I guess, where we are presently and where we're headed, what is our ultimate target, goal, or objective, I guess? So, have we established that? Do we have terms of reference on obtaining that goal? And if so, what is it? If anyone has
Yeah.
Given our population, and that the ministry suggests that you have one physician for every 1,300 paid people, so we should have about 375 family physicians. Today we have 357, and then that number fluctuates up and down throughout the year as new people come on and as we have people retire from practice. So that would be us at sort of maximum capacity.
Okay, and through you, Mr. Chairman, with respect to year 10, I guess, we were up at 367. Did we assess why we lost so much revenue in that 1 year?
Yeah, so there were, I think almost 30 people who left that year, and that was in large part because in 2008, when the stock market crashed in 2009, when it really hit bottom, a lot of people who had been planning on retiring put off their retirement plans. So we had new people coming in, so that pushed our number higher. And it wasn't until that year, 2013, when the people who had been planning on retiring before ultimately did retire. And so it landed up that we've been recruiting new people for several years. And then we had one particularly really bad year in terms of the number of people who left.
So we didn't lose new physicians, we just retained those who were planning on retiring. As a result, new came in.
Right. Yes. So, and it's fairly typical that we do have people that are going to be leaving Hamilton other than retirement. So it could be that they've changed specialties. They maybe have decided that they want to be working in a hospital setting full time, and so they leave family practice. Or it could be that they or their partner or spouse has had a job transfer somewhere else, and so that's why we lose them.
So out of the 15, do we have a breakdown?
Yes, we do. I'm not sure that I have that number with me though. But yeah, I mean, it is something that I track.
Yeah, so if we can have that for next time, maybe just as a point of interest.
Sure.
And now we did gain some ground, through you, Mr. Chairman, from year 11 to 12. We gained 5, and in those 5, where were they come from? 5 that we didn't gain.
The 5 that we gained that year?
In year 12, we've gone from 352 in year 11.
Oh, I see, to the 357.
So who are the people? Where do they come from?
Some of those people have come up from the States. Some are McMaster graduates, and then other people are people who live in Canada have moved here.
And lastly, to you, Mr. Chairman, from year 1, that's year 2, to today, those that we did attract, did we ever assess what really led to attracting them? And if so, is there any way of focusing in on those variables in order to create some sort of formula or protocol in order to reach out to potential candidates?
So again, the first part of your question in terms of why they moved here, a lot of that has to do with, now it has to do with the family health team. So it's to do with the practice models, and that's why people have chosen to practice here. There's all sorts of personal reasons as well. They might have family, children who, they're looking for good schooling, and then ultimately they want them to go to MAC or one of the other universities that's close by. So there's lots of other reasons as well, but definitely the family health team is a big one. And sort of the connections in the medical community, large urban center, access to specialists and tertiary care hospitals that are supporting their work. So it's that whole medical support network that is attracting them. And so in terms of what we do going forward, the ministry recently made an announcement that existing practices cannot expand. We can only have new people coming in and taking over from physicians who have retired. So that limits the number of new people that are going to be able to come into Hamilton, because I'd have to look at I don't have that information on hand, but probably only about half of the physicians who have come to Hamilton are in new practices. So those people, it's not clear. Right now, they're not able to do that unless they go into a fee-for-service environment, which is not very popular.
So to you, Mr. Chairman, with respect to was it a legislative amendment or was it a policy amendment with respect to the family health, the provincial change?
I believe it would have been a policy amendment. Yeah.
Okay. So would it be advantageous for this group to put forward a motion with respect to what the concerns are with the whereases, lobbying the province to perhaps revisit the issue based on it conflicting with what our mandate is?
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Because we're frustrated as physicians. They don't hear us.
Okay, so maybe if we could, through you, Mr. Chairman, at the appropriate time, we'll move that. If I have a seconder. Now, if somebody could just help me on the wording of it, I'll do that.
Sure.
Your expertise.
Could I suggest this then? We'll have the like the notice of motion, or we'll have it treated as a motion for the purpose of the clerk.
Yes.
And the motion, the spirit of the motion is to ask the province to review and reinitiate the original model.
Well, at least identify
The principle.
the presenting problem,
Yeah.
how it's playing a role in conflicting with our mandate, and how we're formally requesting that they amend it to accommodate a change in order to accommodate our mandate.
Okay. So those are the general principles. As far as the actual wording of the motion,
We'll leave that to the staff.
could I ask Dr. Lamb and Janice if you can sort of come up with the wording that would make sense? And then
It's Jane.
Jane, straight Jane. And we'll have then once we formalize that here, then we can certainly have Councillor Merulla speak to it and Conley speak to it at council, and then have a letter from the mayor go to the appropriate ministry to lobby for the changes, necessary changes.
And also carbon copy all the members of parliament as well.
I take it through the chair, I take it every city has a similar subcommittee as we do, right? Do they?
I was just at,
Should we-
I was just at.
should we not send that
an event.
motion to all the other
Asking them to support it as well.
asking them to support it?
That's actually very good.
Because I think one person, one city doing it doesn't have a lot of strength, but 50 do, or whatever the number would be.
That's
So
an idea.
we can do that.
Well, then we should probably automatically
Make
add
it
emo as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would just be within Ontario though, right?
Right.
Because,
Yes.
okay, yeah, because we're the only
It's
ones
an
that
Ontario
are, yeah.
policy, isn't it?
Right, yes it is.
AMO is the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. Right?
Oh,
No,
okay.
So yeah, it's just keep it local, but building widespread support for the motion gives it more credence when the ministry's looking at it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So
I got a question.
yes,
I just,
Councilor Conley.
going on and saying this to the council, Merulla was talking about, we're limiting the number of physicians that are coming here for whatever reason. So we have a shortage of what, 20,000 people not having necessarily a physician, is that right? If we need 385, I think it said 385 or
375.
375, I don't think I'm in here right, 375, we got 357, we're short 10, 15,000. There's 50 that don't have physicians, I'm sorry. How do we handle that? How do they handle that? Just out of curiosity.
How do the patients handle that?
Yeah, how
They
does the
don't have it?
15,000 or so people that haven't got their own doctor, kind of the situation when they, just go emergency.
I think there's different ways. One of them is to access walk-in clinics or emerge, and the other is that the existing family physicians, the 357, some of them will have larger practice sizes than they would ideally like to have, but they've taken on those extra people because they feel an obligation to care for more people in Hamilton. So it's taken I think a toll on the physicians who have those larger
And
practice
is the
sizes.
province trying to, through the chair, is the province trying to encourage the clinic rather than the private practice? Is this part of why they're limiting doctors from joining other?
It's part of the family health organization. That's a little bit different than doing fee for service. The family health organization has access to mental health counselors, psychiatry, dietitians, nurse practitioners. So the model is a more inclusive healthcare model. If you're just doing fee for service, it's you, your receptionist, and the patients, and you don't have access to all these other providers. It's a whole shift in the way the Liberal government has really promoted this right up until there's been change in policy which she has mandated to us. So that's where the crunch comes. And Hamilton has a huge number of family health organizations.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, Jane, can I just get the other, I guess, critical point for the members is we talked about the numbers, but the other side of that is how many of our doctors currently providing service in this community are over 60 years old.
Yeah, so what I've done is I brought two PowerPoint slides, the presentation that I gave earlier this week. And the first one is showing you visually how successful the program has been, because we're comparing or looking at the number of new family physicians in Hamilton that are, it's this one right here. Do you have an extra
It was
one?
on the blotter.
Oh, here we go. So we've doubled the number of young people, we've doubled the number of young family physicians that we have in Hamilton since the program started. The number of people that are over 65, that number has more or less stayed the same. I mean, it's fluctuated a little bit, but not nearly as much. So we still have 41 physicians who are over the age of 65 still practicing. Many of those people have very large practices, and it is a challenge for me to find people to take over those practices. If we take a look at the next slide, here we're comparing within the different age groups of family doctors, we're comparing what the percentage of our doctors is versus what it is on average for the province. And in the 35 to 44-year-olds, we are really short as compared to the provincial average, and that's because we weren't recruiting 15 years ago. So that's where we're seeing a shortage, and as those people go through, that's going to hit us, when we're looking for leadership positions and to work on different committees and things. You can also see that in the 55 to 64-year-olds, that number, we are quite a bit higher than the provincial average. And so, we have this gray tsunami already here in terms of the 41 that are 65 plus, but we also have this huge group that's coming up right behind it. So the pressure to replace people continues.
Thank you. So that, actually, I had moved on to the current statistics to 4.2. So I need a motion to key performance indicators to receive. Moved by Councillor Conley, second by Mr. Falco. All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Now, we just got into the current statistics. That's what Jane was going off. Do you have other information on the current statistics that you need to address?
Nope.
Okay, it's moved by, received by Councillor Conley, second by Councillor Merulla. All those in favor? Carried. Now we're moving on to 4.3, conference report. Any discussion respecting this item? Seeing none? Moved by Sheila, second by Doug. I'm gonna use first name, is that okay? All those in favor? Carried. 4.3, or 4.4, cash flow. Is there any discussions respecting this item? I just add that I did talk to Jane this morning, and my staff are in the process of setting up a meeting with Dr. Kelton, Dean of Medicine at McMaster University. They contributed $25,000 last year. We don't have long-term commitments from our contributors. In most cases, it's year to year. So we have to revisit to reestablish their commitments. And so we're starting that process. Now, my understanding is that we did have a benefit, Jane, 15,000 bump up from
7,500. It was 7,500 from the Department of Family Medicine, and
Right.
now they're giving 15,000.
15,000.
Right.
So that's a nice bonus. But we do need to meet with both Mr. Higgins at St. Joe's, because I guess he's sort of taken over some responsibility for Kevin Smith, and Dr. Higgins, sorry, and Rob McIsaac at Health Sciences to reaffirm their financial commitment to so that will be taking place in the next number of days, or weeks, I guess. Any further discussion on the financial piece? Seeing none. Moved by Doug, second by Sam. All those in favor? Carried. 4.7 budget up to actual comparison to date.
4.5.
You have it? Yes, you're right. 4.5 budget to actual comparison. Any questions on this? Moved by Len, second by Sam. All those in favor? Carried. We just did cash flow, right? I was talking about that, but cash flow 4.6. Any questions on 4.6? Moved by Sheila, second by Len. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. 4.7 budget to actual comparison to date. Any questions? Seeing none. Moved by Doug, second by Sam. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Physician recruitment funding for 2015. Any discussion? Seeing none. Moved by Len, second by Sam. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. That concludes the information. We have general information or other business. Any general information or other business? Seeing none. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Councilor Merulla, second by Councilor Conley. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.